abundant supply of natural gas, and a steady supply of natural gas exported from the United States would be beneficial to our allies, to Eastern Europe, and let the world know that they're not going to be held hostage by the kleptocratic Kremlin any longer. We can do this in several ways, how we can export natural gas. And that debate's already taking place here in the House of Representatives, in the Department of Energy, about whether or not we should or could export natural gas, set aside the Ukrainian issue. And I think that we should. We have that opportunity. It's something that we can do to relieve the pressure of the intimidation by Putin and his attitude about moving in and taking over other people's property. The demand is there in Europe, and the supply is overwhelming in the United States. And the only thing that stands in the way is our own government. And so what do we do about that? First time in our history, we can export natural gas to foreign countries. And the United States has so much we could not use it, none of it, could use it all in our lifetime. And it's beneficial to the United States to sell natural gas abroad. It will create jobs in the United States. It'll create an income. It'll make us energy, you know, we've heard this phrase since we were children, energy independent by using natural gas, but also by selling it to our allies and our friends. And the only thing, as I mentioned, that's stopping it is the bureaucratic red tape. It's ironic. We've talked about the year 1938. In 1938, Congress passed a law that required that any company that wanted to export natural gas had to get approval from the Department of Energy. Now, that's additional to the other permitting requirements that are required by FERC. Over the last 70 years, this bureaucratic requirement that began in 38, ironically, was hardly noticed anywhere in the United States because we were importing natural gas into the United States. Now, the United States can become the Saudi Arabia of natural gas by exporting it. And so technology has changed, and we have an abundant amount of natural gas here in our own country. So we can update the 1938 law, dismantle the bureaucratic roadblocks, and take the DOE, Department of Energy, I didn't say injury, I said energy, out of the export license granting process altogether. So I think Washington, this country should be supporting, not stonewalling, the development of this valuable resource. And we can do that by legislation. I've introduced legislation today, in fact, that would have the Department of Energy expedite the approval process for exporting natural gas to the Ukraine, former Soviet republics, and to Europe. Let's get on with it. Sure, it'll take some time to get all of the logistics set up so we could actually send it to these countries, but we should help them, and we should sell it to them, give them an alternative, and we can do it on an economic basis, an economically good basis for these countries and for the United States. And we can encourage folks to look to the West, as many of the Ukrainians already want to do, and give them an alternative. And the second thing that we can do, to let the Russians know that we don't really approve of Putin moving into other people's countries, just like Hitler moved into other people's countries, is to look at it diplomatically, in the sense that until the Russians move out of somebody else's land, the Ukrainians, then they shouldn't be getting any diplomatic visas into the United States. You stay out of the United States. You respect the rule of law, the international rule of law. Don't be an aggressor nation. Come into the world community of non-aggressing nations, like Russia says they are. So make there be some consequences for this activity of invading other countries. And what are the consequences? No visas for Russian diplomats to come to the United States. That's a good place to start. Meanwhile, let's approve and expedite exporting natural gas to the former Soviet republics. And so I've introduced bills that would do both of those things, something we can do immediately. Let the Ukrainians know that they have a friend in the United States that we really do believe in supporting freedom, letting the nation itself, the Ukrainians, figure out what they want to do, who they want to rule over them. Let them figure out that process, and it is difficult, and they disagree, as I am speaking tonight, on what course they should take. But let them decide. Not let the Russians force them to become another puppet of Putin. And I hope we can move this legislation as fast as we possibly can, and I will yield back the balance of my time. And that's just the way it is.